Okay, do me a quick favor. Think of an elephant covered in bright pink icing. Seriously, picture it in your mind's eye right now. Got it? Now, which way did your eyes just move? If you're like, well, almost everyone, they probably just darted up and to your right. You didn't consciously tell your eyes to do that, did you? It just kind of happened. Welcome to the absolutely fascinating world of eye accessing cues. Today, we're going to learn how to be a bit of a mind reader just by paying attention to the totally involuntary ways our eyes betray our inner thoughts.
Welcome to This Explainer, diving deep into the secrets in our eyes. Think of this as your personal undercover detective's training manual. We're going to decode how lateral eye movements literally reveal what's happening inside someone else's head. And honestly, it's a skill that once you learn it, you will absolutely never be able to unsee.
Here's our roadmap for today. We're hitting the secrets in our eyes, visual, auditory, and kinesthetic modalities, the eye accessing map, eliciting cues with questions, and we'll wrap up with exceptions to the rule. Let's jump right in. Section 1, the secrets in our eyes. So, early researchers in neuro-linguistic programming, or NLP, made this really incredible observation. They realized that body language offers clues to how we process the world before we even speak a single word. Most of us, we just sit around waiting for someone to talk to figure out what they're thinking. But noticing these tiny, rapid eye movements, it gives you a literal superpower. When someone's eyes flick in a specific direction, you can actually guess the inner system they're using to process information at that exact second. And knowing this, it lets you tailor your communication to essentially speak their hidden language, massively boosting your chances of getting a great response. Moving on to Section 2, visual, auditory, and kinesthetic processing. NLP suggests we process the world primarily through 3 distinct channels, which they call representational systems. Visual is all about sight and the eyes. Auditory is sound and the ears. And kinesthetic, well, that encompasses feelings, emotions, and the physical sense of touch. When someone is thinking through a problem, they aren't just crunching abstract data like a computer. They're actively re-experiencing or creating pictures, sounds, or feelings right there in their mind. But here is an absolutely critical distinction. We have to separate constructed thoughts from remembered thoughts. When I asked you to picture that pink elephant earlier, you were constructing something you've presumably never actually seen in real life. You had to build it from scratch in your head. But if I ask you to think of the color of your front door, you're remembering a hard, factual image. The brain treats recalling a past fact and constructing a brand new idea as 2 entirely different operations. And, as we're about to see, this triggers completely different eye movements.
Section 3, the eye accessing map. This is where it gets really fun.
Okay, so when a standard right-handed person accesses a visual memory, say picturing the exact color of their very first car, their eyes naturally flick up and to their left. Researchers actually label this VR, for visual remembered. It is an automatic, hardwired neurological response. Seriously, ask a friend what they wore yesterday and just watch their eyes. You're almost guaranteed to see this exact upward left flick as they rapidly flip through their mental photo album. In expanding on that, there's actually a complete eye accessing cues map for your typical right-handed person. Let's break it down by zones. It's pretty intuitive once you get the hang of it. Looking up indicates visual processing. Looking horizontally, that's auditory. And looking down means they're tapping into kinesthetic feelings or internal dialogue. So specifically, looking to their top left is VR, visual remembered. Top right is VC, visual constructed. Horizontally left is AR, auditory remembered, while horizontally right is AC, auditory constructed. Looking down into the right is K for kinesthetic, that's accessing those raw feelings and emotions. And finally, looking down into their left is AD for auditory digital, which is just a very fancy way of saying internal dialogue. Basically, they're talking to themselves. Now here is where a lot of people mess up. We have to talk about the mirror concept. When you're studying that map, it's drawn from the perspective of the person doing the thinking. So when you're standing opposite someone playing the role of the observant detective, you literally have to read their face like a mirror. If their eyes go up and to your top left, they are actually looking to their top right. Keep this flipped perspective in mind, otherwise you're going to get your signals totally crossed out there. Section 4, eliciting cues with questions. We don't have to just sit around waiting for these cues to happen. We can actually actively test for them using some great field-tested questions. For a visual prompt, ask, what color is your front door? That forces the brain to pull up a visual memory. For an auditory prompt, try, what does a chainsaw sound like inside a tin shed? That forces them to construct a sound.
And for kinesthetic, what does it feel like to put on cold, wet socks? You probably just shuddered a little bit imagining that one. The genius here is that asking these specific questions forces a person into a very specific sensory modality. Your job is to watch their eyes dart to the right zone before they actually answer. By the time their mouth starts moving, the internal processing has already happened. Section 5. Exceptions to the rule. Because, of course, there are exceptions. So there's a phenomenon known as the left-handed reverse. That map we just went over applies to the vast majority of standard right-handed people. But roughly half of all left-handed people, and honestly even a small handful of right-handed people, have completely reversed eye patterns. For them, remembered images and sounds might show up on their right side, while constructed stuff is on their left. Their feelings might be down to their left instead of their right. It is quite literally a total mirror image of the standard map. Which leads us perfectly to this golden rule. Remember, the answer is in the person in front of you, not in the theory. You can't just blindly apply this map to every single person you meet. You've got to calibrate them first. You do this by asking a completely normal, casual question that forces them to remember a mundane fact. Like, hey, which route did you take to get here today? If they look up and to their left, boom, you know they follow the standard map. If they look up and to their right, you know their patterns are reversed. Test, observe, and then adjust your strategy. All right, let's turn this all into a simple 3-step exercise you can actually use right away. Step 1. Ask a neutral question to check their baseline and see if they're standard or reversed. Step 2. Watch their eyes carefully before they speak. That tiny split second of silence, that's where the magic happens. Step 3. Map their movement. Are they visualizing? Are they hearing sounds? Are they checking their emotions? I challenge you, try this with a friend or a coworker today. Just casually ask them what color their childhood bedroom was and watch what happens. I want to leave you with this final thought. The next time someone pauses to answer you, what invisible world are they actually looking at? The people around us are constantly painting pictures, playing sounds, and feeling emotions right there in front of us. And the clues to their inner world are written clearly in the tiny movements of their eyes. You just have to know how to look. Thanks for hanging out for this explainer. Now get out there and test out your new communications superpower.